Donald Trump doesn't want you to call him a dictator, even though he's referred to himself as a day one dictator. No, I think he'd prefer king. It's a different flavor, a bit more old timey. Because the White House official Twitter account posted this yesterday: congestion pricing is dead, Manhattan, and all of New York is saved. That was the only thing threatening New York. Long live the king. And it's a photo of him with a crown on or whatever. And let me just jump out ahead of what many people are probably thinking. Hey, he's just saying that to make you mad. He's just trolling you. Here's what is true. He's saying that to make us mad. Here's what is not true. He's just saying that to make us mad. They're different things. If this was day one of his first term and he hasn't done much and he posted something like that, then maybe we could freak out and I'd be the hyperbolic lib on the internet or whatever. But when he's already not complying with what judges have ordered him to do, when he's already breaking the law and the firings that he's doing, when he's already said that he is the only interpreter of the law or the Constitution that actually matters, and I'm probably already forgetting authoritarian things that he's done. Wielding the DOJ as a tool to make Eric Adams a vassal of his in New York, threatening prosecution against Congresspeople like AOC for telling people what their rights are. I could go and do every day, go on and on. You can say he's calling himself a king to make us mad. You cannot say he's just calling himself a king, because he's not just doing anything. This is not just trolling. That is how he functions. And it's not so much about it making us mad as it makes his base happy, because they are, like, you take any Maga person, you scratch them just the slightest bit and it's a monarchist under that. That's always been the case. It's now explicit. They want a king. They want to be dominated by daddy who's home again. And so I understand, Francesca, that we probably should not get like, oh, he tweeted something. But like, that is what he's doing. He is ruling as if he's the only government official with literally any power or authority or anything. So anyway, what do you think? We sometimes disagree on this stuff.
I've said, no, I agree with you. And this is not a distraction. This is exactly as you broke it down. I think rightfully we should all be deeply disturbed. And as someone who goes on Piers Morgan, an actual monarchist who is so hot for monarchy and somehow talks about American democracy every day. Yes, I can tell you that you scratch any MAGA person, most of them, especially the mouthpieces, let's be real. And they're ultimately monarchists, and they might call it monarchy, they might call it king, they might call it CEO. It doesn't matter. They believe in, the Unitarian executive theory or whatever the hell legalese means. Anything I say or do goes. I am above the law. I'm above all of Congress. I make the laws, not Congress. I decide what gets funded, not Congress. And he's acting like that. And look, I'm sorry, buddy, you're in the wrong country if you want to do that. But again, here I am just saying that, and he's actually the one obliterating the Constitution as we speak. Long live the king, may I remind everyone, is what Scar said in The Lion King when he pushed Mufasa off a cliff into a stampede of wildebeest, okay? Long live the king. Like, this is terrifying behavior, okay? That is where we're at right now. So yes, we need to assemble our little crew. I'm really on my Hakuna Matata, like little dissociative trip over here. But we need to get back to the den. And I don't know, John, this is what I mean about vision. This has always been their vision. It is Project 2025. It is gutting of the federal workforce. It is basically making the president king. And I wish, in some ways, I wish Biden would have done this, because if he had done that, every Republican would be like, oh, our democracy is very important. 100%. Here's why, we're gonna take power away from the executive branch. Good, do that.
Yeah, no, 100%. And so again, I'll do the thing I do every day. Does AOC get to declare herself queen if she gets elected? Do they think that? Does anyone think that? Does Kilmeade think that? No, literally none of them think that. But again, it's not, the flaw is in thinking that because we are driven by our principles, everybody must have principles, right?
Right.
And on a certain level they do, they want to win. That's the principle, that's it. They'll win democratically if they think they can, but they don't think that they can anymore. And so while we're pointing out that this is deeply un-American, deeply anti-democratic and all that, let's also point out that it's deeply bitch-ass behavior. The reason they want to be dominated by Big Daddy is not a single one of these Republicans, especially their mouthpieces, their elected officials, thinks that they can actually win in the marketplace of ideas. They have no confidence whatsoever in their message, in their platform, in their ability, in their charisma, in their rhetoric, in literally anything. And because they do not want to compete in an equal marketplace, that's why they want, in the job market, they want white people to be elevated above all others because they don't think that they can compete. They can compete. They don't have that actual confidence. And electorally, the exact same thing. They want it to be set up so they automatically win, so they never actually have to grind it out like regular people do. There are people who are driven by entitlement and fear. We all know that that's primarily what occupies their skull. But for a lot of these guys, I think that that's now overflown. And if you were able to somehow unzip their sack, I think you just find more fear clustered up in there as well. And so this is un-American. It's unacceptable. We need to get him out of there. And also, I'll just say in a general sense, not attached to any potential actions. And people who've been watching the show for the last week can probably guess what I'm going to say. He who saves his country breaks no laws. I keep hearing that and saying it, and so just bear that in mind. When you click the join button and become a tier 2 member, you get access to all of our weekly top 10 lists. What are you waiting for?